And now it's time for another Booze and News clip. I don't know where even Bitcoin is right now. I know that they've been taking a fucking beating. Russia just banned it this week too, right?
I mean, it's not even that it's taking a beating. When they're done siphoning all the money out and it's finally ready to go, it'll go. The holdalls will never sell. It's like the Beanie Babies. The Beanie Babies will just sit in their closet and they're never going to sell them until they're just worth nothing.
I wonder,
they're not going to try to sell.
What's the parallel in history to this? I mean, you say Beanie Babies for sure.
The wooden nickels.
The wooden nickels. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Dude, people are still buying the dip. Did I send you that clip of that guy? So there's this show. There's this comedian I really like. What the fuck is his name? I really like him. But he has a podcast, and they were, and one of the guys on the show was talking about how he keeps buying the dip. And he's like,
well, of course, but he's like, they bought it all the way up.
But he's like,
they don't know what's going on. They're convinced. He rolled a bunch of sixes, and then now he thinks he can only roll a six.
Right. Fuck, I can't remember. I can't believe Andrew Scholes is the guy, and I forget the other guy's name on the podcast. But no, they were asking. They're like, "Are you still doing that? Like, it's been bad." They're like, "Are you still doing that?" He's like, "Oh, I gotta do it. I gotta do it." He's like, "I gotta make my money back." He's like, "My wife's gonna kill me."
The reason a lot of these people made money on the way up isn't because they chose to. It's their personality. It's right. They grifted into it. They're not going to all of a sudden flip the switch to not be that person. So they're going to lose it all the way down. We've talked about this in the .com era. They make it and then they lose it all. They're not going to see the light and then go, "Oh, let me pull back." They're going to double down until there's nothing else to double down.
It was so apparently just gambling all along, and I knew that. And anyone who thought it wasn't, I was like, "Dude, what the fuck are you talking about?" I was like, this is why I don't gamble. I don't know how to count cards. I don't know shit. You know what I mean?
It's going to be the same with all this stuff. The sneakers, the Bitcoin, but even these companies that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Tesla.
Yeah, speaking of this guy, he's one of those guys that, grifted all the way up. Jake Paul says he's broke. Put all his money into crypto. They've been that's a weird family, but yeah, he said he made $36 million from fights, and he invested that shit into crypto, and it's all gone.
This is another one we've also in these episodes talked about how I think a lot of these influencers, we're going to look back and they're more like, we think they're like the new Hollywood or something like that, and I see them more like just like real world road rules type people, like they're like, "Oh, I was on TV a lot in my 20s," and then
reality TV stars, you mean?
Yeah.
To some degree. Earlier in the show, we were talking about people like celebrities running for politics. And it just occurred to me, and this is something I've talked about on the show before too, and I think about this too when I think about influencers or whatever, but America is weird in the fact that we got rid of aristocracy only to replace it with this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like with influencers and fucking celebrities.
Well, that's also though, like they kind of like talk about how in other countries, especially China or something, they want to steal your camera data, your face or your image or anything like that to control you. It's like, well, at least in America, everyone's trying to steal your data to sell you shit, and that's really like, you know what I mean? They're really not trying to like control you much. They're really all just trying to grift on you.
Right. No, that's the main thing. Right? They sell your and it's for bullshit. It's so it's so you can get a fucking ad that's like, "Hey, don't you want to buy this?"
Yeah, I mean,
let's see if I got.
Don't buy it, I guess.
Speaking of bullshit companies and the end of the Gilded Age, have you guys heard? I'm going to ask you this, Coleman, because I think John has heard this, but I'm curious if you have. Have you heard about what's been going on with Radio Shack these days?
Yeah, they've really been going for it.
Dude, I had to follow their Twitter. It's so ridiculous. Fucking wild.
A Hail Mary advertisement play?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Like, let's see how far we can go, and we're done anyway. So let's just get into trouble. Let's fucking go for it. It's like, man, it's the the high school equivalent's like playing a game of chicken or something.
It's so it's so funny because my grandpa used to take me there all the time when we were kids. You know what I mean? Because he was like he was an engineer and tinkerer. You know, just buy shit and build it. And it's like, I wonder what he would think now if they was like, oh yeah, Radio Shack. This is a tweet from them. If you find a squirter, marry her.
He'd probably think it's funny.
No.
I mean,
Dude, what the fuck is going on? It's just the dumbest. I can't. And John and I have talked about this before, but I can't help but think that in the 1920s, it had to have been this dumb. You know what I mean? It was people in fucking. It was people in tuxedo shoots and champagne just saying dumb fucking bullshit like this. Maybe with a little.
It's because the issue is in these times where the money goes to is all the wrong places.
Yeah.
Like it's going and doing stuff. It's just all of like the worst things.
Yeah, it's gnarly. Whew. So I don't know. But yeah, we predicted it here. The Great Depression is coming. We're in it.
It's been moving along.
We're seeing these countries in the earlier segment with Sri Lanka. I think that's all part of it. You know what I mean? We're going to start to see.
We all use the same central banking system. The entire world has their own central bank. They all have similar interest rates. They all do the same thing.
Yep. So, any words of advice before we move off of economics, John? Anything you want to say?
No. Just have fun on your break. Relax a little bit. Hopefully you'll come back for the election.
Oh, we're going to come back for the election. That's when we're going to come back. I'm not coming, I don't think I'm coming back until then. I'm going to take a few months off and then gear up for the insanity of that. That's just going to be fucking insane.
That's just midterms.
Yeah, I know.
Trump's supposed to announce his re-election campaign like in September, too.
September, yeah.
So midterms aren't even over. And he's like about to start running.
They're trying to get him to wait till after midterms are over, but you know Trump. He don't fucking listen to anybody. So it's going to be fun. Thanks for coming on, John. We're going to bring on our boy Mega, but follow.
Looking swole, Coleman. Looking good.
Coleman's looking good, drinking that water. John, where can people go follow you at? And Inlo, where can they follow Inlo at?
Just on Twitter at Inlo Presence.
Hell yeah. Thanks for watching. Follow Booze and News on Twitch. We live stream Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when we put up new content. Cheers.